Darth Sidious, known as Palpatine in his public persona, was a master manipulator. His journey from the serene planet of Naboo to becoming one of the most feared figures in the galaxy is a tale of ambition, deceit, and dark power. He hailed from the planet Naboo, a world known for its beauty and tranquility, but beneath its peaceful surface, young Palpatine harbored a burning desire for power. From a young age he craved power and influence, always looking for ways to rise above his peers. His ambition was unmatched, and he was willing to do whatever it took to achieve his goals. He learned the ways of the dark side of the Force, delving into forbidden knowledge and ancient Sith teachings. This dark path gave him the power he so desperately sought. He became a Sith Lord, taking the name Darth Sidious. Under this new identity, he began to weave a web of deceit and manipulation. Sidious hid his true nature behind a facade of respectability and charm. He was a master at concealing his dark intentions. He entered politics on Naboo, using his charisma and cunning to gain influence and power within the political arena. With his persuasive skills, he quickly rose through the ranks, charming those around him and gaining their trust. His ability to manipulate people was unparalleled. He manipulated events to his advantage, always staying several steps ahead of his rivals. Every move he made was calculated and precise. His machinations eventually led him to the position of senator. As a senator, Palpatine worked from within the Republic's heart, furthering his own dark agenda. From his seat in the Senate, he sowed discord among the senators, playing them against each other to create chaos and confusion. He sowed discord among the senators, fueling their distrust of the Jedi Order and creating an atmosphere of suspicion and fear. He fueled their distrust of the Jedi Order, painting them as a threat to the Republic's stability and security. He subtly nudged the Republic toward chaos, orchestrating events that would destabilize the government and create a power vacuum. All the while, he presented himself as a friend and a guide, someone who could be trusted to lead the Republic through its darkest times. He carefully orchestrated a crisis, one that would propel him to the position of Supreme Chancellor. This was the culmination of his years of planning and manipulation. This crisis would propel him to the position of Supreme Chancellor, giving him unprecedented power and control over the Republic. He used fear to his advantage, manipulating the emotions of the populace to secure his position and further his dark plans. The Republic, desperate for stability, embraced him as their savior, unaware of the true nature of the man they had placed their trust in. They had no idea they were embracing their destroyer, a Sith Lord who would bring about the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. Palpatine was a master of manipulating fear. He understood its power to cloud judgment and create chaos. He knew that fear could make people act irrationally, turning them against each other and making them easier to control. He understood its power to cloud judgment. Fear was his tool, his weapon of choice. He wielded it with precision, knowing exactly how to exploit it to achieve his goals. He knew how to exploit it to achieve his goals. By sowing seeds of doubt and mistrust, he could manipulate entire populations. He turned friends into enemies and allies into adversaries. He used fear to turn the Republic against itself. The once united front began to fracture, with citizens and leaders alike succumbing to paranoia and suspicion. He subtly encouraged separatist movements. These movements, fueled by fear and distrust, began to gain momentum, further destabilizing the Republic. He presented himself as the only one who could hold the Republic together. With his calm demeanor and authoritative presence, he seemed like the beacon of hope in a sea of chaos. He played both sides, fueling the flames of conflict. By manipulating both the Republic and the Separatists, he ensured that the war would continue, giving him more power and control. The people, afraid of the future, clung to him even tighter. They believed that only he could bring peace and stability back to their lives. He used the media to spread his message. He controlled the narrative, ensuring that his version of events was the one that the public heard and believed. He painted himself as the only hope for peace. His speeches were filled with promises of a brighter future, a future that only he could deliver. The people, bombarded with his propaganda, believed his lies. They were desperate for a savior, and Palpatine fit the role perfectly. They didn't see the truth. They were blinded by fear and manipulated by a master of deception. Palpatine's manipulation was subtle, but effective. He knew exactly how to pull the strings without revealing his true intentions. He never revealed his true intentions. He hid behind a mask of concern and leadership, all the while plotting the Republic's downfall. He used fear to erode the Republic's foundations. The very core of the Republic was crumbling, weakened by the constant state of fear and conflict. By the time the people realized his deception, it was too late. The damage had been done, and the Republic was beyond saving. The trap had been sprung. Palpatine's plan had succeeded, and the Republic had fallen into his grasp. The Jedi Order, Guardians of Peace, were Palpatine's greatest obstacle. Their wisdom and strength were unmatched, and their influence stretched across the galaxy. They were revered by many, but Palpatine saw them as a threat to his ultimate plan. He knew he couldn't defeat them directly, not yet. Their power was too great, their reach too extensive. A direct confrontation would be his undoing, so he chose a more insidious path. He would erode their influence from within. He began to plant seeds of doubt, whispering in the ears of those who would listen. Palpatine sowed seeds of doubt about the Jedi among the senators. He played on their fears and insecurities, suggesting that the Jedi were not the selfless protectors they claimed to be. He hinted at their arrogance, their detachment from the common people. He painted them as elitists, out of touch with the struggles of everyday life. He questioned their loyalty to the Republic. Were they truly serving the people, or were they serving their own interests? Slowly, distrust began to fester. The once unshakable faith in the Jedi started to waver. He exploited the Jedi's connection to the Force. He clouded their vision, making it difficult for them to see the truth. He made it difficult for them to see the truth. The Force, once their greatest ally, became a source of confusion and uncertainty. They sensed a disturbance, but they couldn't pinpoint its source. The dark side was growing stronger, but its presence was elusive. They were blind to the darkness growing right under their noses. The more they tried to see, the more obscured their vision became. Palpatine manipulated the Jedi into accepting a more active role in the coming war. He knew that by doing so they would be seen less as peacekeepers and more as warriors. He knew this would further distance them from their principles. The Jedi, once symbols of peace, were now generals in a war they didn't fully understand. It would paint them as soldiers, not peacekeepers. The public perception of the Jedi was shifting, and not in their favor. It was a crucial step in his plan to turn the Republic against them. The seeds of doubt and distrust had been planted, and they were beginning to take root. The Clone Wars were not a tragedy, they were a carefully orchestrated plan by Palpatine. He manipulated both sides of the conflict. He ensured the war served his ultimate goal: absolute power. The Separatists, under the control of his apprentice Count Dooku, were nothing more than pawns. They provided the chaos and fear necessary to justify Palpatine's power grab. The Republic, desperate for victory, granted Palpatine emergency powers. He used these powers to further consolidate his control. He expanded the military. He strengthened his grip on the Senate. He became the embodiment of the Republic itself. The Clone Wars dragged on. The Jedi, caught in the crossfire, became more and more like the enemy they fought. They were drawn further from the light. They became more vulnerable to the darkness Palpatine cultivated. Section 5, Order 66. The Jedi Purge and the Rise of Darth Vader. The Jedi Order, though weakened and disillusioned, still posed a threat to Palpatine's plan. They needed to be eliminated. Order 66, a secret protocol embedded in the clone army, was his solution. With a single command, Palpatine turned the clones against their Jedi generals. The clones, programmed to obey without question, carried out the order with ruthless efficiency. In a single stroke, the Jedi Order was decimated. Anakin Skywalker, a powerful Jedi Knight seduced by the dark side, became Palpatine's enforcer. Rechristened Darth Vader, he hunted down the surviving Jedi, his rage fueled by his own inner demons. The Jedi Purge was a massacre. It marked the end of an era. The light of the Force dimmed, overshadowed by the rising darkness of Palpatine's reign. Section 6, the Galactic Empire, a galaxy shrouded in fear. With the Jedi Order destroyed, Palpatine discarded the pretense of democracy. He declared himself Emperor of the Galaxy. The Republic, weakened and broken, was reorganized into the Galactic Empire. Fear became the Empire's primary tool of control. The Emperor's will was absolute. Dissent was not tolerated. The citizens of the galaxy were subjected to constant surveillance and oppression. The once vibrant galaxy was silenced. The Emperor's shadow stretched across the stars, a chilling reminder of his power. The galaxy had entered a dark age. Section 7. Key players. Pawns in the Emperor's grand game. Palpatine's rise to power was a carefully orchestrated symphony of manipulation and deceit. He used countless individuals, some willing, some unwitting, to achieve his goals. Count Dooku, a disillusioned Jedi master, became Darth Tyrannus, leader of the separatist movement. He was a pawn in Palpatine's game, a tool to be used and discarded. Jar Jar Binks, a seemingly bumbling Gungan, was used by Palpatine to gain emergency powers. His clumsiness masked a cunning that few recognized. Even the Jedi, in their blindness, played a role in Palpatine's rise. Their trust in the Force blinded them to the insidious darkness growing around them. They became unwitting pawns in his game. Section 8. The Emperor's Endgame: Absolute Power and Control. Palpatine's ultimate goal was simple: absolute power over the galaxy. He craved control not just of the physical realm, but of the Force itself. He sought to bend the galaxy to his will, to create an empire that would last for 1,000 years. He dreamed of immortality, of ruling the galaxy forever. He pursued ancient Sith lore, searching for the secrets to cheat death. He saw the galaxy as his to rule, its people as pawns in his game. His reign was one of terror and oppression. He crushed all opposition, silenced all dissent. He ruled with an iron fist, his will enforced by the might of the Imperial war machine. Section 9. A Galaxy in Chaos. The Legacy of Palpatine's Reign. Palpatine's reign of terror left the galaxy scarred. His pursuit of power plunged the galaxy into chaos and war. Millions, if not billions, perished in his name. The Jedi Order, once the guardians of peace, were no more. The Force, unbalanced by the darkness, cried out in pain. The galaxy was left vulnerable, ripe for further conflict. But even in darkness, hope remained. A small band of rebels inspired by the memory of the Jedi rose to challenge the Empire's tyranny.